Evolution of Astrid Hofferson. Astrid Hofferson, or simply Astrid, makes her debut appearance in the 2010 first franchise movie How to Train Your Dragon, which is loosely based on the first book by Cressida Cowell with the same name as one of the main characters, voiced by America Ferrera. Here she appears as a young girl and a Viking warrior of Clan Hofferson, with blonde hair and a messy braid in back tied with a brown strip, wearing a striped sleeveless shirt, leather fabric bracelets on her arms with bandages on top of them, a skirt with spikes and skulls, and also spiked shoulder pads with skulls and crossbones in addition to her weapon of choice, an old double-edged battle axe given to her by her mother. She is very strong, dutiful, patriotic to the Viking way, competitive by nature, and highly dedicated, working hard to achieve her goals. In the story, Astrid first appears at the beginning during the dragon raid, helping to put out fires with her friends, but later not joining them when they all bully Hiccup, the son of the village leader, who is considered an outcast. She then appears with the other students, including Hiccup, in dragon training, where she has long been the top student, but this soon changes when Hiccup begins to progress in his combat training, much to her surprise and frustration. As a result of following him, she learns about his dragon friend Toothless and is initially scared and wants to reveal it to everyone. But after she and Hiccup fly on him, she completely changes her mind about dragons and promises to protect him, and even bonds with Hiccup in the process, later also kissing him on the cheek for this new amazing experience. However, after the villagers discover Toothless, they capture him and use him to find the dragon's nest, where they discover a giant dragon, the Red Death, and attempt to kill it. But after Astrid joins Hiccup and their friends, and then, with the assistance of their dragons, saves everyone from the Red Death. At the end, this changes the entire structure of the relationship between the villagers and the dragons, as they become friends with each other, after which Astrid kisses Hiccup right on the lips, signaling a more serious relationship between the two. Then, Astrid appears in the 2010 first animated short, Legend of the Boneknapper Dragon, first at the beginning, helping put out a raging fire, while Gobber is telling the Vikings that a dragon, Boneknapper, hunted him down again, with no one believing him. After this, she and her friends, alongside Hiccup, sail a ship together in order to find and defeat the legendary dragon, during which Gobber continues to tell his legendary stories, which turn out to be so captivating that they end up crashing and sinking their ship on an island. At the end, after the dragon attacks them, they discover that what the dragon wants is a little bone Gobber had taken from him in the past, after the return of which the dragon becomes playful and kind, as well as helps them to get back home on his back, with Astrid sitting right behind Hiccup. Astrid reappears next in the supporting role in the 2011 animated short Gift of the Night Fury, at the beginning, preparing to celebrate the holiday of Snoggletog for the first time alongside the dragons by helping to decorate together with her dragon and friend, Stormfly. However, soon the preparation gets interrupted by all the dragons inexplicably flying away, with Astrid and everyone else getting very sad and looking for other ways to celebrate, with her at first trying to spread her new beverage, Yuck Nog, which nobody likes, and then, after she witnesses Hiccup flying away on the last remaining trapped dragon, Meat Lug, finding the dragon eggs left behind and deciding to wrap them in ribbons and put them in the villagers' houses, hoping for a peaceful hatching surprise, but instead, all the eggs hatch with an explosion, causing her to get in trouble. At the end, Hiccup and all the dragons return back to the village, but now also with their babies, with Astrid happily reuniting with Stormfly and her children and later thanking Hiccup with a kiss and a hug, as well as wishing everyone a happy Snoggletog. Next, Astrid makes her appearance in the 2011 animated short Book of Dragons together with Hiccup, Fishlegs, and Gobber, exploring and writing notes about different classes of dragons in the Dragon Manual in the Great Hall, including the Sharp class, of which Stormfly is part of, with Astrid narrating her story and different facts about her as well as how to approach her to best train her. In the 2012 live-action play, How to Train Your Dragon Live Spectacular, which is an arena show adaptation of the original movie, Astrid reappears as one of the main characters in her original role, with the only difference being that she saves a baby at the beginning instead of helping put out a fire. Following, Astrid appears in the first animated TV show in the franchise, Dragons: Riders of Berk, which is set between the events of the first movie and its sequel, again as a main character, voiced by America Ferrera. In the series, she, together with her dragon and their friends, is trying to maintain the harmony and peaceful cohabitation between the dragons and Vikings, as well as successfully run the newly established Dragon Training Academy, as shown in the episode How to Start a Dragon Academy. Meanwhile, her relationship with Hiccup continues from the movie, as they often meet with each other, spend time together, and go on adventures with others. She is also shown to play a crucial role in the events of the show, as illustrated in the episodes Heather Report Part 1 and Heather Report Part 2, where she and others discover an estranged girl named Heather on the beach of Thor, whom everyone is welcoming as a guest, except for Astrid, whose initial jealousy toward Hiccup welcoming her soon turns to suspicion when she notices Heather is taking an unusual interest in the Book of Dragons. Later, her suspicions were proved accurate, as Heather was working with the other Vikings, called outcasts, and despite Astrid and others' efforts to stop the book from being taken, they failed, and then decided to put her in jail as a result. After her interrogation, Astrid learns that she did it to save her parents, but at first didn't believe her and instead decided to take the matter into her own hands by disguising herself as Heather and going into outcast territory in order to get the book back. Towards the end of her mission, after putting her life in grave danger, she learns and confirms Heather's reasons for helping the outcasts, and manages to save the book and her parents, as well as preserve their safety with the help of Hiccup and their friends. Astrid reappears next in the second animated TV show, Dragons: Defenders of Berk, as one of the main characters. In the series, Astrid, alongside Stormfly and their friends, continues her journey in the academy and the mastering of the dragon training skills, as well as putting them to use as she and others battle against their old and new opponents, while also revealing some of the characters' past, as shown in the episode Fright of Passage, in which Astrid's story and experience with the Aurora, also known by the Vikings as Orfandil's Fire, is depicted, during which every 10 years, Berk gets attacked by a mysterious and frightening dragon called the Flightmare, and when she was a little girl, she witnessed her uncle, fearless Finn Hofferson, getting defeated and frozen by the dragon, bringing dishonor on her family name, since everyone thought he had been frozen because of fear. Hence why, since that time, she has been harboring the desire to defeat the dragon and restore the honor of her family, which finally gets nearer when she and Hiccup encounter the dragon and then find out its true power, a kind of mist that can temporarily paralyze someone, and a reason for attacking them, which is a fear that they are a threat to its survival. With this knowledge at the end, Astrid and her friends manage to divert the flow of the glowing algae river out to sea, which is the dragon's food source, thus preventing it from ever coming towards Berk again, after which Hiccup announces to the whole village that even though they have learned a lot about the Flightmare tonight, the most important thing was that fearless Finn Hofferson was indeed fearless, just like all the Hoffersons are, thus clearing Astrid's family name. Then Astrid appears in the 2014 second movie installment in the franchise, How to Train Your Dragon 2, which is set 5 years after the events of the first one, in her main role, voiced by America Ferrera. Here, she appears as a grown-up woman who has become more elegant and feminine, having her hair more sun-bleached and neatly styled in a lengthy side braid over her left shoulder, now wearing a red sleeveless shirt with a dark spiked fur skirt, a fur hoodie, metal shoulder pads, and a matching silver belt decorated with small skulls. Her usual arm wrappings are replaced with large, thick bracers covered in fur, while she still carries an axe, though considerably different in design than her previous one. In the story, she's first seen at the beginning, where she participates in dragon racing with her friends on Berk and emerges victorious, as she so often does, with Stoic even getting impressed and describing her as his future daughter-in-law, based on Astrid's and Hiccup's romantic relationship. Then Astrid meets with Hiccup alone, who reveals to her that he has been avoiding his father because he pressures him to become the next chief, which really excites Astrid, but leaves Hiccup unsure if he is ready to take on such a duty. To which she responds that what he is searching for is not out there, but inside himself. Soon, they find out about a new wave of danger to their peaceful existence, which comes from the main antagonist of the story, a tyrannical dragon capturer by the name of Drago Bloodfist, who intends on overtaking the whole world and ruling over all dragons. In the course of their battling, they sustain major losses, such as losing Hiccup's father to Drago and also having all their dragons taken captive by him, during which Astrid has never failed to be alongside Hiccup, helping, supporting, and encouraging him to go forward with hope. At the end, after their victory over Drago and Bewilderbeast, Astrid happily reunites with Stormfly and then says to Hiccup that she was right about him all along, followed by them kissing on the lips. In the 2014 animated short Dawn of the Dragon Racers, which is set about 3 years prior to the events of the sequel, Astrid and her friends are catching sheep running around Berk, which turns into a competition to collect as many sheep as possible. She then persuades Hiccup to continue Dragon Race as a new great way to blow off steam and have fun, while he is made acting chief by Stoik in his absence. During one race, however, as Astrid and Snotlout were heading for the black sheep, with both not wanting to lose, they ended up smashing into each other, resulting in Astrid breaking her left arm and thus preventing her from further participation, much to her anger and frustration. But, at the end, after Stoik returns, he expresses his good feelings toward the competition and proceeds to announce the start of the first annual Berk Dragon Race, with Astrid as the referee for the first race and also to make sure no cheating happens. In the animated TV show Dragons, Race to the Edge, which is set between Dragons, Defenders of Berk, and How to Train Your Dragon 2, Astrid appears in the main role, voiced again by America Ferrera. Here, she has her hair still kept in a braid, but her fringes have been cut shorter and are side-swept so that they no longer cover half her face, as well as wears a side braid behind her ear, a similar blue shirt, her gladiator skirt with fewer spikes on it, the same shoulder pads and skull clips, and arm wrappings in addition to brown leather knee pads over her leggings. In the story, she, Hiccup, and others have started to explore new realms and new kinds of dragons who dwell there in order to increase their understanding of their nature and behavior, while also going through many new challenges and adventures, which include serious dangers for them, their loved ones, and their land, which they work hard to protect. Additionally, Astrid in particular plays a role of a trainer for the new dragon riders, who end up playing a crucial role, as shown in the episode Team Astrid, after discovering their village in ruins and her home destroyed after a hit-and-run attack by Dagger, one of the antagonists. She strongly trains a new team of recruits, who later assist her and others in the battle against Dagger, after which she proudly promotes them to full riders. Astrid appears in the 2019 animated movie sequel, How to Train Your Dragon in the Hidden World, set a year after the previous movie, voiced by America Ferrera. Here, she appears a bit older, with waist-length hair that she leaves down with a single long braid in the back, with long fringes swept to the left, which is also lighter in comparison to her hair in the second movie, also wearing a dragon-scale flight suit during battle missions. In this story, her relationship with Hiccup becomes the closest in the franchise, which is reflected both in their conversations and behavior, as shown right from the beginning when they converse together on a wide variety of pressing issues, including their prospect of marriage as well as the possibility of relocating to a land thought to exist beyond the edge of the world, told to Hiccup by his late father. Their chat soon gets interrupted by Toothless, who runs off down the cliff and encounters the dragon just like him, but white and female, and when Astrid and Hiccup see her too, they marvel, and Astrid excitedly gives her a name, a Light Fury. Despite this bright moment, however, they later learn that their village was attacked by a notorious dragon hunter, Grimmel, after which, with Astrid's support, the whole village population begins their journey. On their way, they encounter many harsh challenges, such as her and others almost getting killed by Grimmel and having all their dragons taken away, including Toothless and the Light Fury, which are considered the last of their species. At the end, with Astrid's encouraging and inspiring words, as well as a kiss with Hiccup, she sets out with the other dragon riders to engage Grimmel in a battle, defeat him and his army, and liberate everyone as a result, which they manage to achieve with flying colors, but still end up having to bid farewell to the beloved dragons as they relocate to the hidden world. At the closing scene, set 9 years later, Astrid alongside Hiccup as her husband, and their 2 children, Zephyr and Nuffink, is shown happily reuniting with Toothless and the Light Fury, as well as their 3 offspring. Then, in the 2019 animated special short How to Train Your Dragon Homecoming, happening 10 years after the dragons left for the hidden world, as the residents of New Berk prepare for the yearly Snoggletog Festival, Astrid suggests bringing back the play Snoggletog, dedicated to the time when the Vikings and dragons became friends, in order to cheer up Hiccup, who's missing Toothless, and also show their and others' children what dragons are actually like, to prevent them from having the same hatred and fear of dragons that their ancestors had. After everyone agreed to have the play, she helped and encouraged Hiccup and others so that everything would go smoothly, but because of the clumsiness of the cast members, the entire stage ended up on fire, causing chaos in the village to ensue. However, thanks to Toothless, who was watching from afar with his family, the play was eventually performed until the end, giving everyone the long-awaited amazement as a result. At the closing of the short, Astrid and her family managed to be on time to witness Toothless with the Light Fury and their children flying away from New Berk, prompting them to visit them soon in the hidden world. Astrid also appears in the 2019 Christmas special, Snoggletog Log, alongside her family and friends, making some of her yaknog and helping to prepare dinner to celebrate Snoggletog in their house, with all of them ending up spitting the soup on the screen and disappearing at the end. Finally, in the 2025 first live-action movie adaptation of the 2010 original movie, How to Train Your Dragon, Astrid appears performing her original role, but also having some change in appearance and personality, such as now having brown hair with 2 braids on the sides, brown eyes, slightly darker skin, and a bit different color palette and composition of her clothes, as well as being a bit more aggressive, competitive, and ambition, portrayed by Nico Parker.